The winningest coach in Carolina Panthers history. 3 playoff appearances, a couple of NFC championship games, and the Super Bowl in 2003. They went to the playoffs a season ago. And Rex Ryan, the charismatic first-year head coach of the New York Jets. Of course, Brian Billick, you hired him as your linebackers coach going all the way back to Baltimore in 1999.
And charismatic's an interesting word for Rex because this guy has got passion and energy, and it translates to his team.
The Jets won the toss. They will defer with Carolina getting the football. Jay Feely spins it away, chasing Tyrell Sutton into the end zone. He'll take a knee, and Carolina gets the ball at the 20-yard line. Panthers are led by 34-year-old Beau Bridge, Louisiana native Jake Delhomme in his 11th year out of Louisiana Lafayette. Talked about the turnovers early in the year. 13 interceptions in the first 6 games, tossed in a couple of fumbles. But over the last 4 games, he's only thrown 1 pick. That was in last week's loss against Miami. D'Angelo Williams is chased down behind the line of scrimmage by Sean Ellis. Take a look at the rest of the Carolina starting lineup offensively. D'Angelo Williams, a 4th leading rusher in the NFL. A couple of changes up front. Of course, Jordan Gross, their all-pro left tackle, injured against Atlanta, out for the year. So Travell Wharton goes to left tackle. Mackenzie Bernardo takes over for Wharton at left guard. Hammered soon as he took the handoff. D'Angelo Williams dropped by Marcus Douglas. A good start for the Jets defensively.
Well, they went no huddle here, and one of the concerns when you go to no huddle, particularly on the road, particularly with a new left side, as you mentioned, Tom, they're starting a new left guard. They've moved Travell Wharton out to tackle. It's the communication and making those calls on the line that was a concern coming in for Carolina in running a no huddle.
The negative plays on the first 2 hands off to Williams, so it's 3rd and 17. The conservative approach. Williams gets a big chunk and lunges ahead to get the first down to the 32-yard line.
This is just a weak side run going to the weak side where the number count is just right. They're overloading the strong side here, so they bring a run to the weak side. D'Angelo Williams, boy, you can crank a run off like this on a 3rd and a ton. What that does for the confidence of your team, and I can promise you Rex Ryan's going ballistic on the sideline, giving up a 3rd and long with a run.
So a 19-yard pickup for D'Angelo Williams. And he'll catch it out of the backfield. Tries to cut it back upfield and is tackled at the 37-yard line. A gain of close to 6 on first down for the Panthers. Defensively for the Jets, ranked 5th overall in the NFL in total defense. For those inside linebackers, you're familiar with Bart Scott going back to your Baltimore days. David Harris having a very nice year. The one big change, no Kerry Rhodes at strong safety. The first time in his career he has not been in the starting lineup, replaced by Eric Smith.
You can see Jake Delhomme working the formation. He's got a definitive play in mind based on what he's seeing defensively here.
They'll throw it on a 2nd and 4, and down goes Delhomme back to the 30-yard line in the arms of David Harris. We just talked about the 3rd-year linebacker out of Michigan. He's a leading tackler for this Jets team and now has 4.5 sacks on the year.
They're again checking to whatever this run or this pass action, and as you come in here, the communication, the back just gets one-on-one whips on Harris and now leaves Jake Delhomme vulnerable, putting them behind the count again on a 3rd and long.
3rd and 11, they need to get to the 41. They give it to Jonathan Stewart. And how about that again? Long runs on 3rd and double digits. And again, Carolina cashes in on the run by Jonathan Stewart, a gain of 14.
This is just a commitment to the run. A 3rd and 15, a 3rd and 10, and you run the ball twice, you're sending a message to the Jets and your team. We don't care what you do to this box, no matter how many people you bring down, we're not afraid to run the ball.
Under. 52 is the line. 190.
Slant intended for Steve Smith is batted away by Darrelle Revis. What a fabulous year Revis is having, his 3rd year out of Pitt. Certainly among the top 2 or 3 cornerbacks in the entire National Football League.
Oh, he's gifted. There's no question about it. And you heard John Fox talking about it, just how much respect they had for him. Now, what Jake Delhomme likes about the no huddle, they stay with their core plays. He loves orchestrating the no huddle.
Second down, and D'Angelo Williams dives forward close to the 48-yard line. Another 3rd down upcoming for the Panthers.
Now, Tom, there's different versions no huddle. This is not a hurry up. Jake Delhomme's doing a nice job. Here Jeff Davidson recognizes, yeah, we want to go no huddle, but we still want to chew the clock up because that's what we are as a running team, and Jake Delhomme's getting that by the way he's orchestrating this no huddle.
What's he doing here?
Right here, I think you're seeing all these DBs up in here. I think he's going to opt for a quick play out of his hands. Looks like he's going to go to a pass with the DB down in the box.
They just do get the play off. Delhomme looking. What a throw, and the catch made by his tight end, Dante Rosario. Another Carolina 1st down, converting on a 3rd down.
This is just one-on-one coming out of the break. Rosario is the most gifted receiver of the 3 tight ends that Carolina has. They've got big physical guys in Jeff King and Gary Barnidge. Rosario is kind of the go-to guy with regards to their tight ends in the passing game.
10th play of this drive, which started from their own 20. Stewart bottled up. Breaks a couple of tackles and picks up a yard.
Now the chess match is on between Jake Delhomme and Rex Ryan, because Rex Ryan, who loves to throw multiple people and multiple packages at you, this inhibits him a little bit. So it's a matter, can I get the defense called in that I want and play this chess game with Jake Delhomme?
52 is the line.
On a 2nd and 9. Broken up by Bart Scott. Jonathan Stewart, the intended receiver. Another 3rd down. They've gone 3rd and 17. They've gone 3rd and 14. They've gone 3rd and 11.
And Jake Delhomme, again, not the prettiest, most efficient guy in the world, but he has a knack for getting the ball where it belongs. If they come out and run this one more time for the 3rd time on a 3rd and long, I find that hard to believe they're going to do that. They need to throw the ball here.
Play clock down to 5. Intercepted. It looked like it hit a receiver in the back. Darrelle Revis will go the distance for a touchdown. Clearly missed communication between Delhomme and the intended receiver, Steve Smith. It appeared to hit him in the foot and ricocheted right into the arms of Revis. How about that?
Well, with the no huddle, you're going to see Steve Smith come out of it right here. Obviously, Jake Delhomme thought that Steve was going to turn and look at him very quickly. What are the odds it bounces up off his foot and into the hands of Darrelle Revis?
3rd interception of the season by Revis. His 1st touchdown, and now they're waiting on the holder to come sprinting off the sideline. That's a backup quarterback, Kellen Clemens. He finally gets there with plenty of time left on the play clock. Feely the point after. Good snap, good hold, good kick. My oh my, how quickly things can change. That Carolina drive had it very much going their way, the way the Panthers like to play. Cashing in on third down after third down, and then the interception that hits Steve Smith in the foot. And when you're 4-6, those are the kinds of things that happen to you.
It does, and what you hope it doesn't permeate the mentality of your team, like, oh my gosh, we're snake bit.
Tyrell Sutton, the rookie out of Northwestern, brings it out to the 25-yard line. So Delhomme in the offense, right back at it. We hear coaches talk all the time, turnovers, turnovers, turnovers. 26 of them, a league high for the Carolina Panthers this season. 18 of the 26 by Jake Delhomme, leading to 67 points for their opponents. That's a lot of turnovers. This is Jonathan Stewart. He picks up a yard. Let's go back to the interception return for a touchdown.
You're going to see pressure from the New York Jets. Now, normally that would make Steve Smith hot, but I want you to watch Musa Muhammad. He's filling in here, so I promise you, Jake Delhomme thought Steve Smith was going to look hot when indeed I believe it was supposed to be Musa Muhammad, and then obviously it kicking up unfortunate sequence of events for Carolina.
Stewart again, met by Bart Scott, picking up maybe a yard. It'll bring third down and 8 for the Panthers.
No team is more comfortable running in to an overmanned front, the proverbial 8-man box, than the Carolina Panthers because of their running style between the tackles, and they've got the kind of running back that can make a play with an unblocked man. Seeing the safety down in here, it's either a run away from him or may take advantage of the one-on-one coverage.
Blitz coming from all directions. They get it away to Muhammad, but defended beautifully by Lito Shepherd. Shepherd, the longtime Philadelphia Eagles standout, has basically missed a month and a half with a quad injury, retired 2 weeks ago, and he's back in the starting lineup. Now, with all the injuries the Jets have had, Jericho Cotchery will drop back and return punts today. And standing directly in front of him is Brad Smith. Jason Baker shanks it, but it takes a Carolina bounce. Cotchery from the 30 and is out to the 43-yard line. A penalty flag all the way back to where Baker put a foot on it at the 25-yard line.
Holding. Holding, kicking team, number 44. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
Jets get the football inside Carolina territory at the 46-yard line for rookie quarterback Mark Sanchez. 10 touchdown passes, 16 interceptions. And he'll hand it off to Thomas Jones. Jones, the 6th leading rusher in the National Football League, closing in on 900 yards this season. Of course, Tony Richardson, the 3-time Pro Bowler, leads the way for Thomas Jones. And up front, a rock-solid offensive line. Faneca, an 8-time Pro Bowler. Nick Mangold, the center out of Ohio State, made his first Pro Bowl a season ago. Jones met after a 2-yard pickup by Tyler Brayton. Thank you very much, Kurt. We appreciate you thinking of us from the other end of the country. Dustin Keller, the tight end, in motion. Sanchez, his first throw of the game, just does get it away. And lunging forward, trying to get the first down, is Thomas Jones. Let's see where they spot him. Right at the 36-yard line. And they may have to bring out the sticks for a measurement. I mean, it is right there. And now they say first down. Julius Peppers a step short of getting to Sanchez before he cut it loose.
Nice job of Sanchez getting the ball off under the kind of pressure. You saw these plays early in the year by Sanchez. You hope that he doesn't get gun shy given all the turnovers that he's had the last 3 and 4 games.
Jones again, and John Beeson, the middle linebacker, a Pro Bowler a season ago, has been the top tackler for the Panthers in each of his first 3 years. Up front, Peppers battling through a hand injury, which has kept him primarily out of rundowns, although he has started on first and second down on the opening possession for the Jets here today. In the secondary, much made of Sherrod Martin, who has 3 interceptions, starting the last 4 games in place of the injured Charles Godfrey. Godfrey is back today, but not in the starting lineup. James Anderson, who's 3rd on the depth chart at that weak side linebacker position, getting to start today and makes the stop there.
Tom, this offensive line of the New York Jets, this is their strength. You're talking about 4 first-round draft choices on that offensive line. They know that's the strength of this team, and the best way to run the ball and protect Mark Sanchez is play to the strength of this team, that offensive line.
On a 3rd and 9, a delay to Danny Woodhead. Flags litter the field. Woodhead short of the first down, but it looked like a Panther may have crossed the line of scrimmage a bit too early.
Outside defense, number 96, jumping into the neutral zone, 5-yard penalty, replay, 3rd down.
You're just going to see movement here on the top. You know, one of the things that happens with a rookie is you tend to get methodical with your snap count, and teams can get a jump on it. I know that Rex Ryan and his staff has probably worked with Mark Sanchez to get him to constantly change up and not just go on 1 or 2 all the time.
A 3rd and 9 after the penalty becomes 3rd and 4 at the Carolina 30. And Sanchez out of the shotgun, looking around, still looking, great protection, and misfires for the intended target, Thomas Jones. So Jay Feely, the kicker, brought out for what should be a 47-yard field goal attempt.
At this point, you're pleased that Sanchez didn't turn the ball over, given the circumstance they've been under, because you take points off the board. So this is obviously a good thing with regards to New York and his judgment on a 3rd down.
From 48 yards, and it is wide right. Muhsin Muhammad shaken up on the last possession for the Panthers. They're tending to him on the sideline. So Dwayne Jarrett, the 3rd-year receiver out of USC, replaces Muhammad. Jets in front, 7-0. 2 minutes and 47 seconds to play in the opening quarter. Play action. Delhomme gets it away. And incomplete. He had an eye on Dante Rosario. For more on Muhammad, here's Chris Myers.
Tom, behind the Carolina bench on that 3rd down catch, Muhammad hurt his right knee. The trainer came over, they put a flexible brace underneath and wrapped that right knee. Now, he missed a game earlier this year because of a knee injury. He's in some pain, but hoping to get back into the game.
Chris, thank you. Muhammad has had an outstanding career. Out of his 14 years, all but 2 have been in a Carolina Panthers uniform.
False start, offense, number 47. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
That's the tight end, Jeff King. Well, you talk about the running game, and you brought up earlier the tight ends have been a strength for this Carolina Panthers team this season. The trio of King and Rosario and Barnage have done an outstanding job.
And they've had to use them occasionally as fullbacks due to the injuries at the fullback position.
Delone to D'Angelo Williams, and with him step for step to make the tackle is David Harris. So another third down and long upcoming for the Panthers.
Tom, what I think we're seeing here is clearly the Jets are lining up Darrelle Revis on Steve Smith every snap. They like that matchup, even though the dynamic Smith, even here in a nickel, this is Darrelle Revis inside on Smith here. They clearly feel like their young cornerback has come of age and can match up one-on-one with this Pro Bowl receiver.
Inside handoff to Williams, and Bart Scott steps up into the vacated hole and drops him after a gain of 2. Carolina punts it away. Thanks so much, Mr. Menifee. And of course, New Orleans, the lone unbeaten in the NFC, will put its winning streak on the line tomorrow night at home against New England. Pottery, a fair catch. Jets in front 7-0. They'll get the ball on this drive at the 22. Much was made after last week's game, the humiliating loss against New England, where head coach Rex Ryan said he was going to get more involved with the offense, and in particular more involved with his struggling rookie quarterback Mark Sanchez. Sanchez had 5 turnovers, 4 interceptions in that loss against the Patriots last week. And he'll throw on first down. Nice catch. And still on his feet out to the 34-yard line is Jericho Cotchery.
What they've done, Tom, is institute basically a code system. Rex Ryan is going to communicate with his quarterback via a code, a color, whatever it is, to put him in, as he called it, the right temperament, to understand the pacing of the game so that the quarterback could somehow judge the risk tolerance that they wanted to experience as an offense.
I want you to talk more about that. I mean, you were a guy that was the offensive coordinator of some Minnesota Vikings teams, some of the greatest offensive teams in the history of the National Football League. Statistically, certainly that would back that up. So what's it mean now all of a sudden some of the things Rex Ryan might be saying, might be doing, in particular with Sanchez before a play or a series?
Well, Rex Ryan has a top 5 rated running attack, one of the top defenses, and here he sits at 4-6. He knows that his owner, his administration, his coaches, the players are deeply frustrated with the turnovers. It's his way of inserting himself to say, okay, we'll deal with it, we'll support our young quarterback, give him something to hang his hat on.
Sanchez to throw it on 2nd down and 11. Incomplete pass. Sean Green out of the backfield dropped it. So 3rd and 11 upcoming.
Here's the concern I have with it, Tom, is that that's all well and good to help your quarterback and keep him out of risky situations. But if you so inhibit him to not take that shot down the field, if you see it, take it. If he is so concerned about turnovers and being in whatever mood or temperament the head coach just told me, I'm afraid that you're going to restrict his ability to do what quarterbacks have to do, which is sometimes throw a team on your shoulders and make that play down the field.
Sanchez chased by Everett Brown and just throws it away. And that will be the final play. Steve Weatherford set to punt for the first time today. Captain Munnerlyn receives it at the 22. Spins out of a tackle. And across the 35, he has the punter to beat. And Weatherford runs him out of bounds at the 40-yard line. The handoff, they go back to DeLome down the middle of the field. Contact and a flag comes in. Eric Smith ran right over Muhsin Muhammad.
I think we're going to see a brilliant move by a veteran receiver, a big veteran receiver that hesitated to get that kind of contact and put them down deep. Now, Muhsin Muhammad, you know, Steve Smith is the big play guy for the Carolina Panthers, but Muhsin Muhammad, he's a man. He's the guy, go to, I need to physical up and be the guy in critical situation. We've got a speed guy, but if we got to out-muscle somebody, we're going to go to Muhsin Muhammad. And we've already talked about Dwayne Jarrett. They believe they're developing Dwayne Jarrett along the same lines as a Muhsin Muhammad.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Pass interference, offense, number 87. Pass interference, defense, number 33. Those fouls all set. Replay, first down.
How about that?
Wow,
I don't know the last time I saw that call.
I was just going to say, I don't know that I've ever seen that. Here it's just a little pitch back pass. Fake it into the line, hope to get coverage up. Nice pitch back to the quarterback. Give it all the air that you can. I don't know that it beat the coverage the way you hope, but this is just that incidental I don't know. To me, there's no flag then.
Right.
Either call one or the other, or don't call either and let the play go the way it is. I don't know that I saw enough contact on either to make the call.
They hand it off to Jonathan Stewart, and he picks up a couple of yards on first down, tackled again by Bart Scott.
Now we're seeing Carolina huddle now, obviously with the big punt return, puts them in positive territory. They want a more orchestrated call now coming from the sideline. Jake Delhomme calming the tempo down just a little bit to see if they can get this run game cranked up.
Carnage in motion, play fake to Stewart. Delhomme rolls. What a catch made on the far sideline by Steve Smith. He'll be 3 yards short of the first down, but how in the world did he bring that in and keep both feet in bounds?
This is just a typical boot or waggle play, and the guy here, Steve Smith on the outside, runs basically a deep comeback. He is the last option for Jake Delhomme. Wow, what just a one-handed grab. Basically saved the play to now put them in a 3rd and short.
And now they go out of the Wildcat with D'Angelo Williams taking the snap. Jake Delhomme is split wide to the right. And Williams appears to be about a yard shy of the first down. John Casey, the field goal kicker, already walking off the sideline. If you're John Fox, do you go for it here, Brian Billick?
I think they're going to think about it. They're either going to call for a measurement.
Well, they're short.
They're going to, looks like they're going to measure it, although again now keep in mind the chains are coming from the Jets sideline. They're going to take a peek and see, and you can call for a measurement if it's reasonable, and I think that's what John Fox was doing. I want to measure this thing. If for no other reason, I want to see how far I have to go. And the officials will usually grant that to you, even though they had a pretty good idea of this thing. That's way short.
Yeah, do you go for it now? You know how far you have to go. It would be at roughly a 51-yard field goal try for Casey.
If I'm John Fox, I'm going to go for it. I'm 4-6. I've already had that oddball play. I don't know that, and again, I don't know what John Casey's range is. We uniquely here in the Meadowlands, we don't have much wind right now, so I don't think that's a factor. But I think the temperament of the team, I think, and clearly here they're going to go for it because they've got to get onto the board after that unique interception or bouncing off the foot of Steve Smith for the lone score in the game.
Carolina 6 of 13 on 4th down this season. We're going to give it to Williams. Penalty flag comes in. He has a first down to the 27-yard line. I think it's just holding against the Jets.
Holding, defense, number 95. 5-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
That's Howard Green whistled for the infraction. So John Fox goes on 4th and a yard and a half. They get the first down, tack on 5 more with a penalty, and they'll spot it all the way down to the 22-yard line.
And what will typically happen in that situation, you get a whole defensive holding because a guy's trying to keep an offensive lineman from working up to that next level and holds him to keep him off the next snap.
Little delay to Williams, trying to find a hole. Not one there. But the Eagles right in the thick of things in the playoff hunt in the NFC. D'Angelo Williams smothered a couple of yards behind the line of scrimmage. Jim Leonard in his 5th year out of Wisconsin. Originally an undrafted free agent in 05 with Buffalo.
You're going to see him come off the edge. And in talking to Carolina yesterday and coordinator Jeff Davidson, Carolina is very comfortable with running into an 8-man front because they feel like they can keep it enough between the tackles and count on their running backs to get the yardage. But there, Jim Leonard did a great job of slicing around the edge and minimizing any gain.
7th play of the drive. It's 3rd and 10 for the Panthers at the Jets 22. They're going to run it. Maybe a yard for D'Angelo Williams. So now Casey will come on from the Carolina sideline to try and trim this 7-0 lead.
You know, I understand a commitment to the run, and they've been successful with it in the open field. But to run the ball on a 3rd and long, you've already gone for it on a 4th. So you've said this is a priority. To run the ball inside the red zone after you've already gone for it on a 4th and short and run a counter play on 3rd and long, I don't know that the odds are in your favor that way.
A 40-yard field goal try for Casey. He's been at it for 19 years and has been among the best. And this one hammered right through the uprights. Times Square, that's where the big hitters like Brian Billick hang out when they're in town for the weekend.
No, wait a minute. I'm not the one that appeared in Guys and Dolls in my high school.
Yes.
Right?
Many said that I should go back to those days. So a 7-3 ball game with 10-11 to play until halftime. David Clowney 2 yards deep from his own end zone, going to bring it out. And not a wise decision. He's dropped it to 15.
And we're at that part of the season where the one loss puts you in a position where, let's say at the very least, the odds are prohibitive that you'd come back from that. I'm not sure a 9-7 team is going to make it in either conference.
Thomas Jones picks up a couple of yards. Bringing up to speed our game summary thus far. Jake Delhomme, the one interception that hit Steve Smith in the foot. It ricocheted into the arms of Darrelle Revis, who returned it for a touchdown. The only touchdown of the game.
And 2 and 5 by Mark Sanchez tells us that he so far is managing a game with a 1-score lead, just in the way that Rex Ryan and the Jets wanted to.
Delay to Jones, breaks it to the outside. What a tackle made in the open field by Nile Diggs. Many wondered whether he would play today. A reoccurring rib injury the entire season, but a nice tackle on Jones.
And we're seeing Brian Schottenheimer here with his hand on the communicator. This has also been an issue, Tom, for the Jets. They've had some procedure calls. Part of the problem is, and Schottenheimer put it on himself, that he was pressing that button too early and therefore not getting the communication in cleanly to Sanchez.
On a 3rd and 6, a fake it to Jones. Wide open across the middle is the tight end, Dustin Keller. And that's a first down to the 47-yard line.
This is a great catch here. Sidestepping the pressure. Nice job of Sanchez keeping ball integrity. Throwing behind Dustin Keller. What a great catch. This is a tremendous athlete. He's second on the team in receptions and really beginning to come into his own as a first-round draft choice in 2008. Could become a real asset for the Jets.
So a gain of 22. Play fake to Jones. Sanchez being chased, and down he goes. That's a sack by Tyler Brayton. That'll be a loss of close to 5 back to the 36-yard line.
Nice little quick play fake, nothing more than just the same old counter waggle. He's going to come to the outside. He had Clowney coming across the field, and I'm not quite sure why he pulled it back down. Again, maybe not wanting to take a chance or getting it batted back in his face. And this kind of sack kills your lineman because it has nothing to do with them, yet it goes on the sack category.
Second and 15, they give it to Jones, and he gets a big chunk of it back. Kerry Beeson with him out to the 45-yard line. So a 3rd down and 6 for the Jets. Sherrod Martin was shaken up after the catch by Keller a moment ago. And we mentioned the rookie out of Troy has started the last 4 games in place of Charles Godfrey, who had started every game in his career since being drafted a season ago, and now Godfrey replacing Martin, who's injured. Sanchez tucks it away, has a 1st down. Good decision there by Sanchez, and he'll move the chain.
And good recognition. You can see he's looking down the field. He recognizes that it's man coverage, which means the only guy unaccounted for is the quarterback. So I give him a great deal of credit for recognizing what coverage is, transitioning into, you know what, I can run for this 1st down, and all but coveted 3rd down conversion for the New York Jets.
Closing in on the 6-minute mark until halftime. And Diggs there to meet Thomas Jones, who carries to the 46. That'll be a gain of 2. Jones in his 10th year out of Virginia. Originally a 1st-round draft choice by the Arizona Cardinals, was traded for 1 season to Tampa Bay, then spent 3 years with the Chicago Bears before coming to the Jets 3 seasons ago. And only LaDainian Tomlinson. I think a lot of people would lose that question if you took him on in a bet. Who has the 2nd most rushing yards in the NFL over the last 3.5 years? The answer would be Thomas Jones. Pump fake one way. Jones a catch. And thrown to the deck by James Anderson.
Now here's where we're going to test the confidence and the progression of Mark Sanchez. Whatever code word Rex Ryan gave to him, you're now at the 50-yard line. You've got a 3rd and long. To keep a drive alive, you certainly don't want to turn the ball over, but you cannot inhibit a quarterback at this point on the field to get a 1st down conversion that would ostensibly put you in scoring range, all but a field goal. So we're going to see what the Jets want to do with their young quarterback.
Well, he had no chance to do anything. Everett Brown came off the corner, wasn't touched, and sacked Sanchez back at his own 46-yard line.
And it looked like they caught Damon Woody on the right side. I want you to watch how late Damon Woody gets off on the snap here, as though he didn't hear the snap count. He was expecting something else. Not hard to beat a guy off the edge when his hands are still on his knees and you're halfway to the quarterback.
Well, Damian Woody signing as a free agent from Detroit a season ago in his 11th year. He watches as the punt bounces into the end zone. Carolina gets a football from its own 20-yard line. 4.5 minutes to play until halftime, and the Panthers are trailing 7-3. Hussein Muhammad in motion. Play fake to Stewart, and looking for Steve Smith. And there again is Darrelle Revis. his second interception on the afternoon. This guy's just a stud. I mean, whether you're talking about covering Andre Johnson, whether you're talking about Marcus Colston a couple of times against Randy Moss, he just gets it done.
I want you to watch how quickly he transitions, turns his hips, and plays the ball, and still can keep pace with Steve Smith. That is a beautiful play. Jake knew you don't want to challenge this guy too often, but you can't stay away from your best player, Steve Smith. That's just a beautiful transition into coverage, and then intercepting the ball by Darrelle Revis. Maybe the best corner in the game today.
So now Sanchez and the Jets get it from their own 40, and there's Keller down the middle of the field, and he's inside the 40 to the 39-yard line.
And this is just dialing up the right play. One-on-one coverage. He's got Keller one-on-one. We've already said what a good athlete is, big athlete. He's got him one-on-one with Richard Marshall, and you like that matchup. The 5'11" Marshall matched up against the 6'3" Dustin Keller.
The rookie Sean Green. Boy, and that's a style that Green ran with at the University of Iowa a season ago, and he was a Big Ten's Offensive Player of the Year. He'll run right through you.
Tom, Darrelle Revis has really begun to earn the reputation around the league as maybe the best, and we overuse the term, shutdown corner in the league. And there's the dilemma for Carolina. They're putting him on Steve Smith every snap. So what do? Not throw it to Steve Smith, the most dynamic player on my offense?
On a second down and 4, they'll give it to Green again. And he's very close to a first down. Needed to get to the 29. He ran right over Chris Harris. You know, you go back to last week, and we talked about Revis and locking up with Randy Moss. Moss only had 5 catches for 34 yards. He did have a 5-yard touchdown, but Wes Welker had 15 catches for almost 200 yards, so they found an option. Injured Panthers, Tank Tyler.
It must be ball on the other side.
Tyler, an in-season trade coming over from Kansas City. 2:39 to play until halftime. The Jets with the football and 2 additional offensive linemen on this first down at the Carolina 29-yard line. And they're going to give it to Thomas Jones. And all those additional linemen didn't mean a single thing. In fact, the ball may have come loose. There's a scramble for that football at the bottom of the pile. And Carolina has it. How about that? You had just said in the commercial break, when we saw 2 additional linemen come in, you said you can't turn it over here. And
you're going to put the ball in the hands of your running back. You don't want your young quarterback to make a mistake. Here you can see the ball come out. And
Julius Peppers stripped it out of there.
Yep. Obviously that hand's feeling a lot better, and now it's going to change hands about 15 times in that pile. But you bring in the extra lineman. We're going to run the ball. We're going to make sure we keep this in scoring position, and then you fumble the ball. Hugely frustrating for a team. You're trying to protect your quarterback from not throwing interceptions down there by running the ball, and here you cough it up.
So Sean Green, the one who put it on the ground, not Thomas Jones. So Green, the rookie, with a turnover. And now Carolina. With 2:14 to play. We'll give it to D'Angelo Williams. And he's chopped down at the 28-yard line by Jim Leonard, and that will wind us down to the 2-minute warning. Well, hand injury and all, Julius Peppers still finding a way to make a difference. The 5th forced fumble by Peppers this year, and that time he got the rookie Sean Green. Malone to throw it on second down. He had an open receiver, Muhammad, and threw too high.
You know, when we go back and look, I want to go back and look at Darrelle Revis again, Tom, on this interception, the athleticism, and the reason. Rex Ryan was with me for 9 years. We had some pretty good defenses in Baltimore. He's been a part of some pretty good defenses with his dad in Arizona. And Rex Ryan told us by far this is the best corner he's ever had on any team he's been on. That's high praise for this young man here.
And now on a 3rd and 6, just inside 2 minutes, does Carolina run the ball? They try and get down the field and score before halftime. They're going to throw it. Blitz coming. Delhomme gets it away. Intercepted by Kerry Rhodes. He's been maligned the entire season without a sack, without an interception. Lost his starting job today, and wouldn't you know it, he gets the interception just before halftime. James Ihedibo delivered the shot on Jake Delhomme.
And now we're just going to see Muhammad working his way down the field. Great deal of pressure. You give the Jets credit for bringing pressure on that down and distance. And basically, as you're constantly telling your free safety, let the play come to you.
Well, John Fox has seen it all year long. Now Sanchez with lots of running room. And dives to the 26. That'll be a first down. Jets have all 3 timeouts remaining. 1:30 to play until halftime. I think Sanchez is saying, I called timeout 10 seconds ago.
And typically that's done on the sideline. Typically the coach will turn to the linesman and say, hey, we're taking a timeout. Great call by the New York Jets on this interception. They brought pressure from the inside. You're going to see coming from distance Ihedibo coming from distance. Unblocked, coming from depth, Jake Delhomme having to throw it up into midair and let the safety, Kerry Rhodes, just fall into an interception, and now leaving New York in scoring position under 2 minutes.
This is Thomas Jones, and he's to the 22-yard line.
Jets have 2 timeouts, so they can play this any way they want. Going into the no huddle here, they're going to try to keep 1 timeout in their back pocket to have to possibly use either on a 3rd down or a field goal.
Sanchez to throw it. Good protection. Lays it off for Jones. He has a first down inside the 15, down to the 12, and Sanchez says timeout. 54 seconds remaining until halftime. And coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy have scores and highlights from around the NFL. We're down to the final 6 weeks of the season. And of course, the Fox Sports ticker has up to the second scores and statistics. And for these 2 teams, most feel at 4 and 6 that realistically neither one can reach the playoffs. Now, is it realistic to think they can get there? It might be a stretch, but stranger things have happened. And clearly you lose today, forget about it.
And you don't let that go as a coach. Yeah, 10 and 6. Typically you would think get you to the playoff. You're not going to give up on that dream until you're mathematically out of that.
Inside the 5 and down to the 3-yard line is Braylon Edwards. First time we've called his name today. He came over the first week of October in the trade from Cleveland.
They may very well kill this. They'll try to get a quick playoff. We'll see what they want to do with their young rookie.
They give it to Jones. And he tiptoes his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Thomas Jones.
This is all Thomas Jones here now. They got plenty of guys up in here to stop it. He sidesteps it, all of a sudden comes out and then just puts it in the rug, plants it in the rug, and slices his way into the end zone. That's why he's second to LaDainian Tomlinson since 2005.
Plays under review. I'm sure they want to take a look as to whether or not Jones's knee touched the ground before he broke the plane of the end zone with the football.
And I'm with you, Tom. Thomas Jones is one of those guys that around the league has huge respect. Common fan doesn't hear the name a lot.
After reviewing the play, the rule on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
But he has huge respect around the league. You made the point earlier, and very accurately so. A lot of people would not have guessed Thomas Jones as being behind LaDainian Tomlinson, but that would not be a surprise to people in the league, around the league.
And, you know, some say you get to that age of 30, and that's an age where a lot of running backs begin to break down. Point after is good. But certainly Jones is a young 30-year-old running back, and I mean that because when he first came in with Arizona, moved on to Tampa Bay for a year, 3 years in Chicago. It wasn't until his final year in Chicago that he first eclipsed the 1,000-yard mark. His first 7 years in the league, he averaged less than 210 rushing attempts per season. What a big difference. We saw LaDainian Tomlinson a couple of weeks ago. He was up to 320 on average per year.
And remember, Tom, we've talked many times about a back that is a 300-plus carry guy and how that wears on the body. You talk with Thomas Jones, he'll tell you, hey, I'm a young 30. I haven't had that wear and tear on me. I'm just getting started. So unlike the young player that starts that burden of that 250, 300 carry type of career, he has not had that. So he's going to feel like a young 30. And again, clearly, though, has established himself as that kind of guy around the league. And he's bounced around some teams to show you that there maybe hasn't been the respect for him that you'd expect when you see a guy that has the numbers that he has now.
Tyrell Sutton comes up, fields a kickoff for the 8-yard line, and has dropped it to 29. 23 seconds remaining until halftime. Well, we talked about the final 6 weeks of the season and things beginning to take shape as far as the playoff picture is concerned. You know about the Colts unbeaten, 7-3 division leaders in Cincinnati, San Diego, and New England. And now the wild card chase. If the season ended today, your top 2 teams, the Broncos, Jaguars, then in the hunt. The Steelers at 6-4. They'll play tonight against Baltimore. That's a huge game in the AFC North.
And without Ben Roethlisberger.
D'Angelo Williams out to the 37-yard line in what should be the final play of this opening half. Both New York Jets touchdowns coming off Jake Delhomme interceptions. (14-3) Jets lead it at the half, and the Jets will get the football to begin the second half. Both teams have run it pretty well, but the big difference, points off turnovers. 2 Jake Delhomme interceptions. Brian Billick leading to 14 New York Jets points.
And that's been the story all year long for both these teams. If you don't turn the ball over, running the ball the way you do and playing good defense, you've got a good chance of winning. But you can't turn the ball over, particularly when it leads to points, for both teams, and expect to make that playoff run.
Well, you talked about that before this game ever got started. The Panthers, when they began the year at 0-3, plagued by all the turnovers. The Jets, after starting 3-0, losing 6 of 7, plagued by the turnovers.
And it's been those kind of turnovers. When you look at the 2 big ones for Jake Delhomme, it kicks off the heels of Steve Smith, and then in the face of pressure, a high throw gets out of control, and it's returned for scoring position by New York. So that's the frustration that Carolina is dealing with right now.
Second half is underway. David Clowney from the goal line. Out across the 20 and is tripped up at the 27-yard line. Let's check in downstairs with Chris Meyer.
Tom, John Fox came out of the locker room shaking his head saying turnovers are killing us. I had to ask, given the 3 interceptions, he said, no, Jake Delhomme, he's physically fine. He's our quarterback for the rest of the game. Meanwhile, Rex Ryan saying Revis is a game changer. We've seen that. His code system, he said, I'm using it on every series with Mark Sanchez. It's working well. I just want him to slide more, but he takes off and runs with the football. Tom, Brian?
Chris, thanks so much. So the Jets won the opening toss and deferred to the second half. So we begin the second half on a big carry by Thomas Jones out across the 40 to the 43-yard line.
And the game that Carolina has to play now is almost one of, we're going to come bring Chris Harris, number 43, down into the front. Almost every play, one, to stop the run because we know you want to do it, but almost to bait Sanchez, because it may be the only way Carolina can get back in this game is to force a turnover of their own.
11 carries, 44 rushing yards for Jones. And 16-yard pickup
Harris
his
right
longest.
there.
And still a good pickup running the football, even bringing Harris down into the box.
And I think we saw there, we talked to Carolina about how they have a check system because of the multiple looks of the New York Jets to take a run one way or the other. I think we're seeing the same thing with the New York Jets. They're going to want to run the ball. Their run game is going to primarily stay away from 43 Chris Harris because he's the identifiable guy that comes down in to build that 8-man front.
Second and 5, they'll stay with Jones. He appears to be about a half yard short of the first down, needed to get to the Carolina 47. Inches short, it appears.
Typically, this is a great place for a quick play fake, looking for that shot down the field. It's unlikely that the Jets would do that here. And if they don't, then to come back with that vertical shot on first down.
Again, they bring in 2 additional offensive linemen, and Jones leaps over the pile for a first down to the Carolina 45.
And Brian Schottenheimer knows the strength. We said what? Offensive line is the strength. I got a really good running back. But part of this for the New York Jets as well has to be the development of Mark Sanchez. Yeah, you can be safe with him and, yeah, orchestrate the game. But if they're going to get where they want to go, and they've got to look beyond this year, they've got to give this young man a chance to make some plays in these situations that go beyond just managing the game.
Again, they stay on the ground with Jones. Beeson there to turn him back to the inside. Then Hollis Thomas brought him down. A loss of a yard. Called a loss of 2. It'll be second down and 12. Opening possession of the second half of the Jets, looking to add to a 14-3 lead.
And for New York, again, getting into field goal position that gives you that constant presence you want of a 2-score lead is huge.
First throw of this half for Sanchez, right on the money to Braylon Edwards. Stays on his feet to the 21.
Braylon Edwards has this type of size and speed ratio where Carolina, which is a team that says don't get beat deep, even in our 3-deep coverage, giving a big athlete like this free access to the ball, you can see the power and the size of Braylon Edwards, which is what they anticipated when they traded with the Cleveland Browns for this big gifted athlete.
First down, back in the hands of Edwards. And he is dropped at the 16-yard line. Offensively, the leaders thus far for the Jets. An efficient day for Sanchez without a turnover. Jones up to 54 yards rushing, and Keller a couple of big receptions down the middle of the field in the opening half.
And they've had two short fields to work off of, so that's why the numbers aren't necessarily going to be bigger with a 14-3 lead, because they've been working off a short field because of the turnovers.
Eighth play of the drive. They'll give it to Jones. He's wrapped up by Nick Hayden. You know, you talk about Braylon Edwards, and you know, really he's not made a huge impact statistically speaking since coming over from Cleveland back on October the 7th. But the Jets have averaged 5 more points per game since Edwards came on board. Now, you know, a couple of balls last week, some locally felt they were drops. Edwards got very defensive after leading the league in drop passes a season ago in Cleveland. And certainly he backed it up by saying one of them was tipped, the other one's thrown, you know, 2.5 feet behind me with great coverage. This one caught by Keller and loses a ball at the goal line. And Carolina has it. Richard Marshall covers it up as Dustin Keller was trying to get that extra couple of yards for a touchdown and turns it over.
This is a rifle shot by Sanchez.
First turnover of the afternoon by Dustin Keller, going into the end zone, it appeared, and lost the handle of it, stripped away by Lewis and then covered up by Marshall. On first down, a handoff to D'Angelo Williams, and he loses a couple of yards.
Well, let's go back to it right here. Again, this is just a rifle shot. And it's a great job by Chris Harris stripping the ball late and then Marshall jumping on it. This was going to be a huge play for New York, stretching that lead that now gives Carolina a second life coming out of the turnover.
Sanchez trying to pump up his young tight end. And now Delhomme to Brad Hoover out of the backfield. Outstanding coverage by David Harris. Really not much to speak about offensively for Carolina in the first half. Next to nothing in the passing game. 35 yards rushing for D'Angelo Williams.
And because of the turnovers, it hasn't allowed Carolina, who has stayed committed to the run, for that formula that they have works because of the turnovers. Given the point differential, it's going to start to press Carolina to get out of the mode that they're comfortable with and start taking shots down the field.
First charge, timeout, New York.
Big turnover a moment ago by the Jets. Carolina getting the football, but clearly looking for something, anything offensively. A third down and 6. Blitz coming. Terrific coverage by Drew Coleman. Step for step with Dwayne Jarrett. So 3 and out for the Panthers on their first possession of the second half.
Great coverage in the slot. With the pressure that New York brings, it forces a lot of quick throws out of an offense, and the DBs count on it. They time up their break on the ball, knowing the ball has to come out quickly because of the pressure they can put on a quarterback.
Jets should get very good field position. As Baker will punt this from his own 10-yard line. Patry chased back, signals fair catch at the 27. The Jets fans looking for a victory to get excited again. Boy, were they excited after the 3-0 start, but having lost 6 of 7, needing a win here today. Sanchez on first down lays it off for Danny Woodhead, and he took a shot from Richard Marshall. Let's check in on some of the numbers around the NFL today. A tight one in Philly between division rivals. Cincinnati shutting out in-state rival Cleveland. That's a big one there for Atlanta, trailing Tampa Bay. The Falcons 5-5 on the year, And you pointed out, looking at that Indianapolis-Houston score, you have a feeling what's coming.
It's just you need more than that one score, don't you? You really do.
On a 2nd down and 3. That's Sean Green, the rookie out of Iowa. Well, for those did not see much of Green last year playing for the Hawkeyes, this guy had an incredible year, rushing for nearly 1,900 yards. The first Iowa All-American running back since the legendary Niall Kinnick back in 1939. Now, he's not going to get as much playing time around here. Certainly not the remainder of this year, and maybe even looking ahead to next year with Thomas Jones around. But there's a lot to like with Sean Green.
As we mentioned, a 30-year-old Thomas Jones. Obviously, this guy's there for the future.
Sanchez. Chased by Marshall, who caught him, but he gained close to 8. And Sanchez is still down on the Jets sideline.
Well, this is just Marshall running from down behind. Sanchez knows he's going to get caught, and it's hard to say. It looked like he landed on his back.
And maybe the head coming down on the turf.
Yeah, nice job protecting the ball, knowing that the DB was right behind him. He looked like maybe he grabbed a lower extremity. We'll see. This
Kellen Clemens cranks it up quickly for the Jets. Well, they're taking a look at the left knee of Mark Sanchez, as Kellen Clemens, in his 4th season out of Oregon, a 2nd-round draft pick in 2006. You may remember in 2007 as Green carries for a first down to the 41-yard line. Clemens played in 10 games, got 8 starts that year. Go back to the injury.
Well, as Marshall chases him down, he's just trying to stay out of the grasp of it, and it looks like his leg. At first it looks like the ankle, but his leg just kind of gets caught with just the subtlest of tweaks on that knee. Hopefully it's nothing serious for the Sanchez, as he's known around here. Obviously everybody's waiting to see how this is going to affect their 1st-round draft choice.
Green nowhere to go. Drop for a 3-yard loss in the arms of Julius Peppers. There are a lot of people around here, and you get arguments on both sides, that will tell you that Kellen Clemens has never gotten really a fair shake since becoming that 2nd-round draft pick in 2006. Yeah, he got 8 starts. Yeah, he played in 10 games his 2nd year in the league, but bear in mind, that was basically his rookie year, getting a chance to play for the first time in the NFL. Then they brought in Brett Favre last year, and apparently, after watching Clemens try and run the offense leading up to the draft, that's when the Jets made the trade with Cleveland to move up in the draft to select Mark Sanchez with the 5th overall pick.
And you said it exactly right, Tom. We really don't know about Kellen Clemens yet. Coming out, there was a lot of teams. We were one of them in Baltimore that really liked what we saw. He didn't play all that much at Oregon, so the body of work on Kellen Clemens is not complete enough to decide he's going to be one of those guys. It may very well have to be someplace else before he really has a chance to show that he can be a legitimate starter in this league.
3rd down and 13. Woodhead was dropped at the 44-yard line, and the Jets will have to punt it. They taped up the knee, put a brace on it, and now Sanchez slips on the left cleat. He wants to get back in there.
Yeah, he's carrying himself like a guy that's ready to go back in, so that's a good thing.
And now here comes the heavy artillery with that big break.
Boy. Mobility will not be a premium with that.
Steve Weatherford dropping it inside the 10 and bounces into the end zone. Carolina with the football, trailing 14-3. Under 4 minutes to play in the third quarter. Jonathan Stewart leveled at the 28-yard line by Alito Shepard. For more on Mark Sanchez, let's check in with Chris Myers.
Well, Tommy put his helmet on. He's up throwing again. He said, I want to get back in. 2 doctors, 2 trainers, check that left knee. First they put the sleeve on, then a heavier brace. He was able to bend back his leg. He passed all the tests, at least the early tests that the doctors gave him. And if he is in any pain, he's not showing it. So right now they're determining whether they're going to allow him back into the game, but he appears to be pain-free.
It's a good sign.
I got you.
Well, this Carolina passing game has been ugly. Thank you very much. A 3rd down and 2, and out of the Wildcat, D'Angelo Williams will run it and has enough for a 1st down. Needed to get to the 30 and appeared 1 yard better than that.
Well, this is the point in the game where the New York Jets, as much as they want to pressure and love to pressure, it's going to take a big play down the field to get Carolina back into this, because right now they're just kind of slowly bleeding to death as they move along. So having been with Rex Ryan on that sideline a few times, that's when you call him over and say, Rex, you know, playing zone isn't, you know, against the law here. Let's think about staying a little passive here right now.
Jonathan Stewart, a good solid run close to the 40-yard line. That'll be a gain of close to 9.
And we've had enough Carolina games. We know, and Jeff Davidson's made it very clear, a 2-score differential isn't enough to chase them out of their game plan. They're going to continue to do what they do, which is run the ball and then play action fake for big plays off of it.
Second down and a yard. They pitch it to Williams. And he is dropped for a loss. Good play by Eric Smith, getting the start in place of Kerry Rhodes today. And Williams will limp off to the Carolina sideline.
Just kind of a change-up, hope to get to the toss to the outside. This always worries you on the sideline. Now, that's not a horse collar because his hands were legal, but that's the kind of action that the horse collar tackle has been outlawed when you get a hold behind the pads of a running back, because that kind of rolling up typically leads to an injury. Hopefully there's nothing serious here for D'Angelo Williams.
3rd down and 2. Jonathan Stewart replaces D'Angelo Williams. Delhomme sacked. Back at the 27-yard line by Calvin Pace.
Calvin Pace, this is just sheer energy coming from the outside. Calvin Pace right here and just stays with the play. Delhomme, not the best athlete in the world. You know, Calvin Pace is an outstanding player. He has played to a level that has kept first-round draft choice Vernon Golston on the bench, who's been dealing with some injuries, but it's his play has kept the highly touted player out of Ohio State on the bench.
Pace was suspended, you may remember, the first 4 games of the season. Had the 3-sack game against Oakland. He leads the team with 5 on the year, and what a hit. Down at the 21-yard line, delivered by Quinton Teal. And Jericho Cotchery pops right up. And in comes Mark Sanchez back at quarterback for the New York Jets. If you weren't with us Sanchez injuring his left knee on the last drive, had to leave the game. They put a sleeve on it, then put a brace on it. Chris Myers told you that Sanchez passed all the tests on the sideline, wanted to come back in, and he is. Thomas Jones, a gain of close to 5 on first down. And again, keep an eye on the left knee of Mark Sanchez.
Again, just the subtlest of tweaks, and evidently that's all it was. You know, Sanchez really not playing all that much at USC, just the 1 year. Sometimes an athlete who hasn't been injured before isn't quite sure what it's supposed to feel like, and hopefully it's just that. Now he knows what it feels like and is ready to go.
Jones needed to get to the 33 for a first down. Dropped by Hollis Thomas on the final play of this third quarter. Injured stars in this one. Mark Sanchez back after injuring his left knee. D'Angelo Williams left a moment ago with a leg injury. Has not returned yet, but moving around well on the sideline. The first down pitch goes to Sean Green as we begin the fourth quarter, with the Jets in front of Carolina 14-3 in what truly is a must win for these two 4-6 teams. 33 yards passing, 3 interceptions by DeLone. Sanchez, a very efficient 11 out of 14 for 127 yards. He's not turned it over, and they've really not taken many chances in the passing game. Not intercepted until now. Chris Gamble, his second interception of the season, right at midfield, and perhaps that will be the spark that Carolina's looking for. Carolina after the turnover at midfield, trailing 14-3, just underway here in the fourth quarter, and DeLone to throw it on first down, and a good throw to the tight end Rosario. And he's run out of bounds inside the 25, down to the 24-yard line.
Let's go back and look at the interception. This was not an ill-advised throw. You got one-on-one matchup with a big receiver, no underneath coverage whatsoever. It was just a bad throw. It wasn't forced. It was a well-designed play. It was just a bad throw.
A 26-yard gain on the first down completion to Rosario after the Gamble interception. Jonathan Stewart trying to break it to the outside. And Eric Smith comes up to put a hat on him.
Both these runners, Jonathan Stewart and the starter D'Angelo Williams, we've talked about how Carolina loves to pound in between the tackles. Good to see D'Angelo Williams back in. They love to pound between the tackles, but when that gets shut off, they both have the ability to bounce that to the outside and make a play around the perimeter. Carolina now in no back, second time they've done this.
And again, Rosario, who juggled it and then found the handle close to the 10-yard line.
We talked earlier about how Rosario is their pass-catching tight end of the trio that they have. Big 6'3" target out of Oregon, was down for a couple games, gives them a legitimate passing threat at the tight end position when he's in.
Here's where Carolina has struggled and struggled mightily the entire season. Inside the red zone. Williams bounces to the outside. An outstanding open field tackle. Again, the name Darrelle Revis.
And this is part of the equation we talk about for Carolina, Tom, is that when you play this type of game, the John Fox mode of being physical on defense, good running game, when you do get down in the red zone, you've got to come away with scores, in particular touchdowns. That's part of this 4 and 6 equation, the turnovers and the inefficiency in the red zone. Again, once again, when they need to throw the ball, they're spreading it out into no back.
DeLome to the end zone. Smith caught it, both feet in, touchdown, Steve Smith. He beat Revis in the corner. There's not much a defender can do about that play.
No, this is the brilliance of a Steve Smith. Darrelle Revis, as good as there is in the game, but you got to give Steve Smith his due. You give me enough shots now, you can just see the isolation down here on the bottom. This is a phenomenal, great throw by Jake Delhomme. Can be thrown only one place. That's just great hand-eye coordination, great control. Looks like New York is going to challenge it. The question is, did he have control all the way down? Looks like it may have bobbled a little bit as he was going out of bounds.
This looks, on first look, as though it might be a very smart challenge by Rex Ryan.
Remember the elements. You obviously have to come down.
The Jets coaching staff is challenging the rule on the field of a completed catch for a touchdown.
Well, we're going to see the challenge.
After reviewing the play, is an incomplete pass. The receiver did not gain possession of the football until he landed out of bounds.
And we're going to see clearly on the replay here, as he comes down again, you have to have control to the ground, and you're going to see as he brings it in. It's a phenomenal catch either way. But right here, you can see that flash of white. The minute they saw the laces come out, the officials were looking at the replay, knew that he did not have control through the entire catch. It's a good call.
So now 3rd and 9. We go back to the original line of scrimmage, just inside the 10. They want to make sure they have the right spot.
This is one shot here. If they don't get it, they'll kick the field goal to keep it a one-score game. So they're going to get one shot at this. They can get a first down without getting a touchdown.
Delhomme out of the shotgun. Rosario had it jarred loose. Drew Coleman put the hit on Rosario, who had it momentarily, not long enough to be a completed pass, and then fumble. So again, Carolina stalls inside the red zone.
And on a 4 and 6 year, this is the type of thing that kills you. We talked about the turnovers, but trading touchdowns for field goals. Now this is the right call, because if they make this, obviously it's a 14-6. That's a one-score game. So there might be some saying, well, you ought to go for it here. You bring it down to that one-score game if you're Carolina.
Of course, you need a touchdown and then the two-point conversion behind it. The field goal is good from 28 yards out. Drew Coleman, the big hit a moment ago on Dante Rosario. On a 3rd down play inside the 10 for the Panthers. Casey with a field goal to make it an 8-point game. Brad Smith, the former Missouri quarterback, takes from the goal line. And out across the 25 to 30 and close to the 35-yard line on the return by Brad Smith. Let's check in with Chris Myers.
Well, Tom, on that touchdown that was called back after further review, Steve Smith walked over to me when I was standing on the Carolina sideline. He said, what did the TV show on my touchdown catch? I said, well, it looked like he caught it, but the ref explained that maybe the laces were showing. He said, I thought I caught it. I wouldn't lie about a thing like that.
Yeah, he would. And he's a heck of a kid. I tell you what, you talk about a competitor. I'll take all the Steve Smiths you want to give me.
Oh, yeah.
He is an ultimate competitor.
So now a very important possession for Mark Sanchez and the New York Jets. Sanchez throwing his first interception of the afternoon on his last pass attempt, giving Carolina the ball at midfield. But unlike the Jets, the Panthers just can't turn the turnovers into points, big points anyway.
Well, we saw it a couple weeks ago. You mentioned earlier we had the Philadelphia-San Diego game, and that was a game where you traded touchdowns for field goals, and it just wasn't enough for Philadelphia to overcome in San Diego. And it's the same thing here. You get a short field, you've got to take advantage of it.
Thomas Jones evaded Gamble, but then was dropped at the 41-yard line. Flags down behind the line of scrimmage.
Holding offense, number 49. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
Well, he got whistled for the flag, Tony Richardson, but how good has he been over his 15 years as a lead blocking back in the NFL, many of those years in Kansas City.
Yeah, unbelievable to think of an athlete maintaining this high level of play. He was drafted in 1994. That's hard to imagine. At that physical position, this position takes a wear and tear on you. To be doing it at this level for that long, supremely conditioned athlete.
He's blocked for the likes of Priest Holmes, Larry Johnson, Adrian Peterson, and now Thomas Jones. Second down and 20. Completion to Keller at the 38-yard line. It'll bring up a third down and close to 10 for Sanchez and the Jets as we approach the 10-minute mark.
And this for Brian Schottenheimer and for Rex Ryan. Again, I come back to it, and I'm not dismissing New York's chances of making the playoffs. They're going to fight to the end. But for me, it is about the development of my quarterback. This is 3rd and 10. If you're going to win a championship, this guy has to make a play on 3rd and 10. Where else is he going to learn to make that play?
Well, they're going to let him put it up. And not a whole lot of time to find an open receiver. He's dropped just shy of the line of scrimmage. Peppers was there, Brown was there. Just a lot of pressure. Tyler Brayton as well. So Carolina will get the football back. Trailing 14-6, under 9.5 to play in East Rutherford.
And this is the kind of game that Carolina wants to play. This is what they're built for. One-score game in the 4th quarter on the road. This is what we're built for. We know how to play with this type of pressure.
Rutherford, a good punt. Munnerlyn at the 16, breaks a couple of tackles and a couple of more. Still on his feet. He is leveled at the 28-yard line. Carolina trails 14-6 with 8:47 to play, and Carolina with the football beginning this drive from its own 30. An extremely quiet passing day for Delhomme and the Panthers. And on first down, Jonathan Stewart is dropped for a 3-yard loss.
We don't get to look at a lot of special teams. Let's go back and look. Obviously, they're jamming the gunner. Now, when you go out of bounds, you've got to immediately establish yourself back in, which he does. Misses early, and this is what special teams is about. Open field, wide spaces that lead to these kind of big hits. And boom, he clears the tape all the way. And this is why he's saying, right, that's why I don't play special teams. I'm glad I'm on the sideline when I see hits like that.
Second down, Delhomme to throw. Good protection. And a throw too high for Muhsin Muhammad. He was open at the 45-yard line.
Well, when you throw to Muhsin Muhammad, you want it high, but you don't want it that high. That's obviously his strength. Big target, as we said, going up for it. Jake Delhomme losing control of it just a little bit, and the ball sailing on him. Jake Delhomme never been a high completion guy, but he makes the most out of what completions he gets. Now, no back at some point, and I know Rex Ryan, when he sees this no back, many times that will trigger pressure. They'll want the ball out of Jake Delhomme's hands quick.
Play clock just down to 1. They get it off. Blitz coming, and it's overthrown with an eye on Dwayne Jarrett. So 3 and out for the Panthers. Forced to punt it away.
And here's that pressure I'm talking about. You're going to see DB pressure. I promise you it's triggered by a no-back formation. Rex Ryan known for bringing the kind of pressure that says, I'm always going to bring one more than you can block. I'm going to make you get the ball out of your hands a little quicker than you want.
And now on the punt, Jason Baker, with Cotchery standing at his own 20. That's where he'll field the punt. And right up the seam, and a good return. A 19-yard return by Cotchery. With 7:46 to play in the Meadowlands. The Jets nursing a 14-6 lead with the ball.
And Carolina going to position themselves again to see. They know it's going to be run. Can we force Mark Sanchez into another turnover? Seattle, he said Seattle, that usually means slant.
Sean Green, the rookie, out to the 43. Kurt, thank you. And well, Coach Billick, you have your crystal ball working today.
Well, you knew that 6 points wasn't going to be enough.
Sean Green on a second down carry. Denied first down yardage. So 3rd down. And a long 3. All right, Brian Billick, you're the play caller for the New York Jets. On a 3rd down, are you going to ask Mr. Sanchez to throw it? You said he should on 3rd and 9 a moment ago. What about 3rd and 2?
Yeah, this changes the price of poker a little bit because I can run the ball here and convert this. Just the threat of it, you can kind of go with either one. If he does throw it, it's apt to be off just a subtle play fake.
He's going to throw it. Woodhead came out of the backfield, makes a reception, and has a first down to the Carolina 37.
And Brian Schottenheimer had that in his back pocket the whole game. That's one of those tricky little plays you put in. You hold to the very end just for the right. You have a specific down and distance you're going to run it in. You hope you can get to it in the game because you've worked it all week, probably haven't run it like that before, and it's always fun to get those kind of plays in.
Clock closing in on 6 minutes left to go. Jones. Inside the 35, down to the 32-yard line.
Now, whatever code word Rex Ryan's got for it, he's telling Brian Schottenheimer right now, blue, green, yellow, Detroit, whatever it is, son, we are in field goal position. If we kick a field goal, that now takes us back to a 2-score differential. This is exactly the type of thing that Rex Ryan is having to coach his young quarterback up. Do what you got to do, but don't do anything to jeopardize our field goal position. That means sack or turnover.
2nd and 5 out of the eye. They give it to Jones. He's met at the 30. So another 3rd and 2 upcoming for the Jets.
Jay Feely's the type of kicker that you have a high degree of confidence that he's going to make it. Again, that doesn't mean you won't throw it here. It would surprise me if they do throw it because I'm not sure they want to take that chance.
Jones denied the first down, needed to get to the 27. It appears as though Rex Ryan's thinking about this 4th down.
That would shock me. It really would. It depends, unless he has less confidence in Jay Feely than I do. And here he comes. They're bringing out the field goal. Again, it's always, and we say this all the time, Tom, but we're always talking about score differential. You're under 4 minutes. This takes it out of the one score, that one score being a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, to now a 2-score for a team that has not been able to move the ball, particularly in the red zone.
Feely has missed once today from 48 yards out. This one a yard shorter than that try. A timeout will be called by the Jets. It took him a while to make the decision. For sure they were going to attempt the field goal. This might be one of his best seasons.
Oh, no
21
question.
touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
No question about it.
47 yards. Field goal try by Feely. And it is good. That's a big one for Rex Ryan and the Jets. A lot of the fans here in the Meadowlands have called it a day after that field goal, 17-6. Tyrell Sutton spins out of one tackle and falls into another of the 22. Right now the AFC playoff picture. You know about the Colts trying to go to 11-0 now with a lead on Houston. The Bengals leading at home against Cleveland. The Patriots play tomorrow night. The Chargers later today. All three of those clubs at 7-3. How about the wild card? Broncos end the losing streak, 7-4. Jaguars at 6-4. So too are the Steelers. The Jets would go to 5-6 with a win. A lot of work to do, but still hope. Delhomme throws it away.
Jake Delhomme, and again, Revis having a huge day, and this is where you don't want to be against this Jet team. You can see the matchup here, good on good. These are two as good as it gets in the National Football League. Thrown to it 5 times. Darrelle Revis has one more interception than Steve Smith has, or one more interception than he has a reception. This is not the mode that Carolina's built for, Tom. This is their worst nightmare in terms of the pressures and the one-on-one matchups.
Rosario, the lone bright spot in the Carolina passing game today. You know, you look at Revis this season, you go all the way back to the season opener against Andre Johnson. He only had 4 catches for 35 yards. Terrell Owens, 3 catches, 13 yards against Buffalo. Marcus Colston, extremely quiet in the game down in New Orleans. And in 2 meetings with Randy Moss, a total of 9 catches in 2 games for barely over 50 receiving yards. And now the 1 catch for the 5 yards by Smith today, and Delhomme sacked back at the 25 by Brian Thomas.
And Rex Ryan will tell you, and obviously having been with Rex for all those years, the confidence he has in Darrelle Revis, it's like giving a kid a set of matches, you know, because he's going to go nuts with what that allows him to do with those one-on-one matchups.
Catch made by Gary Barnidge. Clock continues to roll under 2:50.
And likely Carolina, I know it's on top of 2 minutes. It's 2:43 and counting. They may have to go for this on 4th down because a punt just isn't going to do them any good at this point.
The 3rd down at 14. Delhomme under heavy pressure. Lofts it in the air towards the sidelines to Sutton, incomplete, 4th down. And Carolina will indeed go on 4th down, trailing by 11.
You can see the frustration on John Fox's face. It's been that kind of year for them, in that it just seems like you just can't cut a break. The interceptions, the bouncing of the ball off the heel, they just can't seem to cut a break, and that frustration's written all over this team.
Delhomme just throws it skyward, and how about that? The catch made by Dwayne Jarrett for a first down across midfield.
And that's literally just throwing up a jump ball. Got nothing else to lose. Go down fighting. Go down with your boots on, so to speak, and turn it into that.
They'll try to get off a play before the 2-minute warning. They do. Delhomme had an eye on D'Angelo Williams out of the backfield, incomplete. 1:56 left to go. The Panthers trailing 17-6 with the ball at the Jets' 47. And the Panthers do have all 3 timeouts remaining. Dwayne Jarrett leaps into the air and comes down with the ball at the 28-yard line. Another first down. Clock continues to run.
Rex Ryan's going to be pressure here at some point. He can't just sit and play zone too long.
Here comes that blitz. And Delhomme throws it into the air, had an eye on Steve Smith. Kerry Rhodes put a hit on Delhomme just as he turned it loose.
And again, Rex Ryan either going to get a matchup or bring someone off the edges, and that's just what he does with his secondary here. As we said many times, I'm always going to bring one more than you can block to force you to get the ball out quickly, even in a 2-minute situation.
So much this week was made of the decision by Rex Ryan to take Kerry Rhodes out of the lineup. He's been all over the field here today. He's had an interception, has applied pressure a handful of times on Jake Delhomme in blitz situations. Delhomme appeared to have it slip out of his hand, and that'll be offensive pass interference by Jarrett. He caught the ball, goes into the end zone for a touchdown, but Jarrett pushed off as that ball was in the air.
Well, and I think it kind of caught him off guard that the ball was going up. Here you can see him slip. Jarrett's right here. He's going to slip to the outside. And looks like it's dead. It's dead. Oop, the ball's up. Maybe nobody will see him.
Lito Shepherd saying, how do you not see this? They did. Thrown behind the receiver, and how about Kerry Rhodes? We just finished talking about it. Bench this week, did not have a sack, did not have an interception, did not have a forced fumble, did not have a fumble recovery the entire year through 10 games, and he has 2 picks in this game since losing his job.
Well, if Rex Ryan was looking to motivate him, looks like it evidently worked. Again, Jake Delhomme just having to throw it up. And so often you tell your safety, just be where you're supposed to be and let it come to you. And more often than not, it will. Jake Delhomme, again, it's one of those frustrating things for a quarterback. You're at the point in the game where you're having to throw up things that you really don't want to throw up. And for Kerry Rhodes, it's a great way to send a signal back to his coach. I'm ready, coach. You challenged me. I stepped up to it. Now you can put me back in the starting lineup.
That is 18 interceptions on the year now for Delhomme. The most he had thrown in any season of his career was 2 fewer than that. Well, the Carolina Panthers will slip to 4-7. The Jets will go to 5-6. You look at the Jets' remaining schedule. That game at Buffalo will be played in Toronto. That'll be a home game for Buffalo. Then go on the road to Tampa Bay, at home against Atlanta. And then certainly playoff contenders on the road at Indy, and then home the season finale against Cincinnati. Challenging, but not overwhelming. No, you talk about overwhelming. This is overwhelming. After next week against Tampa Bay, you go to New England, 3 losses. Minnesota, 1 loss. You play here again against the Giants, and then finish at home against the unbeaten New Orleans Saints. And like you said, Brian Billick, Your 9 years as a head coach in the NFL, all the playoff appearances you led Baltimore to, and of course a Super Bowl title. As long as your team still has a mathematical chance.
Offense, number 74. 10-yard penalty, half the distance to the goal. Replay first down.
You can keep that drive alive.
And the players will hold on to it because there's always that one example. Regardless of what the odds, we can be that team. And as long as you don't remove all hope, the players will go with you. They'll believe in you until the last possible minute. And that's exactly what the Jets and Rex Ryan will do.
As soon as the final 105 burns off the clock here in the Meadowlands, our bonus coverage, we hope to take you to the conclusion of the Washington-Philadelphia game. Philly has just tied the game, we understand, at 24 apiece. Our game today produced by Bob Stenner, directed by Rich Dewey. Our associate director, Charles McDonald. Our broadcast associate, Bill Cullen. Our technical producer is Bob Muller. The senior producer at Fox Sports, Bill Brown. Executive producers at Fox Sports are Ed Gorn and David Hill. And as always, up here in the booth, we thank Scott Snyder and Tom Barbary and our entire crew.
And on the flip side of it, Tom, Carolina Panthers, again putting this now at 4-7. It's a tough battle. All you can hope to do is say, you know what, guys, we got to raise to the challenge of how do we finish a season as professionals. That's a tough one, and you got to challenge them on that level.
Your impressions of Sanchez today?
Managed the game very, very well. Did just what he had to do. One bad throw, and got to be impressed. He's whether it's the code words or whatever, it's that fine balance between how do I manage a game yet still progress as a quarterback. And this young man, you saw him particularly early. He has all the talent. There's no reason Mark Sanchez cannot be all the player that they think he's going to be. But as we said, going forward, there's got to be some of this growth as well. He grew today. He did a couple smart things. Looked like he held back just a little bit. I'd like to see him. There were a couple throws he pulled back that he might have made that he's going to have to make to go forward. But it's baby steps right now, and you got to feel good about what he did today.
And the bottom line is it's a win because
Absolutely.
You can find all the fantasy league quarterbacks from here to California, up to Washington, and down to Florida. And Lord knows this league is full of those fantasy league guys. Give me the guys that win football games.
Yeah, particularly in this city, because they're not going to buy that fantasy stuff here in New York.
We'll hand it off on third down. And the Panthers will spend their final timeout. John Fox, we asked him about the pressures of coaching in New York. Of course, he knew all about that as defensive coordinator with the Giants. And now as a head coach with Carolina. He said, hey, look, when you're a head coach, it doesn't matter what city you're in. You're going to get way too much credit when your team is going well and way too much blame when it's not.
And you can see him here. He's trying to pump his guys up, trying to make them feel good about themselves. Tough situation, but be professional. Keep fighting. Show passion for your game. That's what John Fox is all about. And it'll be an uphill battle the rest of the way, but he's been here before, and this team will continue to battle.
Carolina going to send the house and try and block this punt with under a minute left. And no one back to receive the punt. If you're the Jets, you're just going to let this thing roll.
Yeah, don't touch it.
Don't get near it.
At some point, the official will make you do it. There you go right there. Well coached. Nice job by Mike Westhoff, the special teams coach for the Jets, saying don't touch it if you don't have to. The officials blow it dead when they feel like they want to. There's Westhoff right there, one of the best legendary special team coaches in this league. Been at it a long, long time.
Again, we hope to bring you bonus coverage next. Washington at Philadelphia. That game at last check tied at 24. Well, what a hit that would be for Philadelphia. should the Eagles lose that game. Nearly intercepted for a 5th time was Delhomme. Lito Shepherd a half step late.
The interesting thing, should Washington win, is that we talk about creating the new division. There's the wild card division. Well, there's no one running away with that NFC East. So that's going to make that that could very well come down to the last week as to see who can win. Forget who's going to make the wild card. Who's going to win that NFC East?
And generally a division that year after year has been among the best, if not the best in the NFL. Brian, you and I have seen a number of those NFC East teams play this year. That division not nearly as good as it's been in the past.
No, it's just before it was just a matter of them beating each other up and knocking each other out of the playoffs. But they just have not played well this year. They've looked really, really good, and then they turn around and look really, really bad.
I mean, you look at a couple of those teams really needing wins in the NFC playoff hunt going into play today. Philly, Atlanta. Philly tied. Atlanta at last check losing. Yes, losing 17-13 in the 4th quarter against Tampa Bay. Catcher, no.
Again, got to have control all the way to the ground.
4th down and 12 from the 17.
And this is I don't know what he's looking down. I don't know where on the play card on your arm it says last play, 4th and 12. What exactly you've got designed for that one?
That was a map to the bus.
Yeah, which is the fastest way back to the airport.
Well, they try the lateral. It looked like a forward lateral after the catch was made by D'Angelo Williams. They're still throwing it around. And Delhomme has it tackled at the 11-yard line. This will be a penalty against Carolina, which will, in effect, end this game.
Gotta love the way they're finishing it, though, right? Let's just do something, right? Let's try to do something here. Just the competitive spirit that you never want to take out of your team.
Well, they're going to make sure they get the call right.
You know, and anytime you have those kind of plays, it's where was the ball let go? Where did you let go of the ball? Where was it received? With regards to it being a forward lateral, and at this stage of the game, let's call it whatever you want to call it, and let's go. I'm not quite sure what all the discussions about at this late stage. Maybe about where do we spot it.
The rule on the field is that we have an illegal forward pass by the offense, number 34. Because the foul occurred in the last minute of the half, it also carries a 10-second runoff and a loss of down. So by accepting the penalty, the game is over.
That's why we said would effectively end the game after the penalty because of the runoff rule. So Rex Ryan's Jets get a win to go to 5-6. John Fox's Panthers slip to 4-7.